Welcome to Kingdom Conversations, where faith meets community. Join us as we delve into current events that matter to you. Hear inspiring human interest stories that uplift and connect us. Enjoy insightful interviews with leaders and changemakers. Hosted by Pastor Collins Adays, your guide through Kingdom Conversations. Let's explore our kingdom together in every episode.
I love you, Jesus, deep down in my heart. midst of all these things that are happening in the world, you helped us navigate through. You protected us and kept us. Father, we've assembled ourselves here in your presence. So, Lord, work with whatever work you need to do on our lives. Say to us whatever needs to be said. And, Lord, do what needs to be done. We said all of that to say, have your way. In Jesus' name, amen. To God be the glory. To him be all the praise, for he is worthy. And we're grateful for all of you. Thank you to all of our ministers, all of our clergy, to all of our visitors who share with us, those who share virtually. And let's show some appreciation again for our men's choir. Great job. All of our wonderful musicians, thank you so much for all that you do. I want to call your attention. And I don't know why they're so stingy with the air. Just, I don't know why that is. I'm sweating and I'm just standing up. Make me think I'm back in South Carolina. I want to call your attention to the text that was read in your hearing, Psalm 42. And I want to lift verse 10. I'll begin at verse 9. I will say unto God, my rock, why hast thou forgotten me? Why go I mourning because of the oppression of the enemy? As with a sword in my bones, my enemies reproach me, while they say daily unto me, where is your God? With a little bit of breath I have today, I want to talk to you this morning and ask the question, where is your God? My topic today could be how to deal with depression. For Christians are not exempt from being depressed. The writer of this psalm is without question depressed. When you read this psalm in its entirety, you can see his depression. It's seen and heard in the words that he utilizes. You read the psalm, he says, my soul panteth. My soul thirsteth. My soul is disquieted. He talks about my tears. I cried day and night without ceasing. Talks about my longings, that I'm cast down, that I'm troubled, that I'm bowed over. Every time you read in this psalm from verse to verse, all through verses 11, you hear sad tones and dejection throughout the psalm. 6 times in 11 verses, he asks why. Twice he asks why. Yes, why am I cast down? Twice he says, why am I so worried and full of anxious moments? And he says twice again, God, why hast thou forsaken me? That sounds like a man who's depressed. But not only is he depressed, even worse, he feels forsaken. And he doesn't feel forsaken by his family or his friends. He feels forsaken by his God. He sinks so deep in his depression that he loses it briefly. He loses briefly the facts of reality. He feels that he's so forsaken if there is no God. And if there is a God, God does not love him, and God does not care about him at all. He feels that God is not concerned about him or his well-being. That God is not listening to his prayer, that God is not coming to the rescue. And his depression was not necessarily based in reality, it was based simply on how he felt. My brothers and sisters, every now and then we can get and have emotional stress. We can have that emotional stress of feeling alone and feeling dejected and feeling hopeless and feeling anxious. And it's contradictory to faith. Whenever the psalmist and whatever he was going through in his life, it was real, it was traumatic. It wasn't the idea and the reality that he was having problems and he was going through some things, that he had some enemies, that the dangers in his life was real and the storm was real. It was how he felt about his condition. This was a man that the text tells us, even in verse 1 and 2, that he had a relationship with God. And yet he finds himself in not only in deep trouble, but he finds himself in deep despair and deep depression. And my brothers and sisters, he had a relationship with God. For verse 1 says, I desire a close relationship with God again. I need what I had with him before. I need it in order to survive my current circumstance. I need God to come and rescue me and deliver me. God has always proved himself before, but this time I want to know, where is God? He says it, he talks about it in verse 1. He says, like a deer that panteth after the water brooks, like a deer running for his life and seeking help and safety, a deer that is being pursued by the hounds, his life and is at risk. And he wants to get to the water because he knows that if he get to the water is a place of refreshing, and it's also a place of rescue, because if he can get to the water will hide his scent from the hound. He desires God, I need you to survive. I need you to be revived. I need you to be protected. And he says, like a deer that in the midst of a heated run for his life, I desire the God like the deer desires the water brooks. My brothers and sisters, have you ever been in that place that you felt so empty and felt as if though that everything is collapsing around you and there is no help in sight, and all you believe that if I could just get to God, if I can feel his presence, if I know that God cares about me, that God is moving in my behalf, he wants him, he needs him, but he cannot find him. And my brothers and sisters, he's sunk to the place that all he has is feeling. He's crying night and day. And even in verse 3, his enemies look now at him and see how far he's fallen down at his condition and his circumstance. He was one that would sing in the sanctuary, and on Sunday morning, he'd be the one that would always be there in the crowd and enjoy the wonderful fellowship of the saints. But now the text says his enemy looks at his condition now, sees how far he's fallen, how dejected he is, how hopeless he is, how his faith has waned, and his enemies ask him the question, now where is your God? In your time of trouble, in your time of problems, in the time of the storm in your life, and everything has fallen apart, when you don't look the part that you used to look, your head is not held up, but now you're bowed down under the weight and strain of your issue. Where is your God? Now in verse 2 and 4, he remembers the wonderful power of coming to the house of God. And he says it so eloquently. He says, I remember the singing. I remember the worship. I remember when the multitudes came in. I remember how it felt just to enter into the house of God with gladness and thanksgiving. I remember how I was lifted up and felt like I was invincible, that God was on my side, that God was in the presence. And as long as God was there, everything was going to be all right. The text says he was trying to get back there. That indicated that he was no longer in the house. And something caught him before he got to the house. Something happened in his life before he could get in the presence of God and be reminded that God loves him, that God cares for him, that God was always there for him, and that God has always been his deliverer, helper, and healer. Something happened while he was outside the house, and it gives indication that he had been away from the house a long time, and all he had was a memory. And my brothers and sisters, it's dangerous to stay away from God's house. He said, I've been thirsting after him. I'm almost done. But he's been thirsting after me. But then, you know, the last thing it is, he says that, well, my enemy has been teaching me a lesson. They've been asking me, in my situation, I've been looking at what I've been going through. And my storm, my trial has been causing me to shrink, and causing me to cry, and causing me to shut myself in and close the door and close the windows and cut everybody out. And they come by and holler at me from the outside and keep asking, where is your God? You get a chance, you read that last verse, that last few words of the text in verse 11. In verse 11, he came to understand. He said, wait a minute, my enemies have been trying to drive me to God instead of from God. And in the last verse, he had an epiphany. He said, wait a minute, that's my God. Y'all missed another good place to shout. They kept saying to me, where is your God? And that gave me indication that he's still my God. And as long as God is on the throne, he's going to work it out for me. And he belongs to me. We're in relationship together. And it doesn't matter what's happening. My God is still on my side. My God, I have relationship with him. I'm going to leave this. I wish I had voice. But you know, the other day, and you know, I loved hymns. And I was reading about a hymn I liked. And sometimes when I read the hymn, I like to find out who it was that wrote it. And there's a hymn that I really love that I use sometime in my sermons. It's the hymn, There Is a Fountain, filled with blood, drawn from Emmanuel's veins, that sinners plunge beneath that flood, lose all their guilty stains. But then I looked up the writer, and the writer was a man by the name of William Cowper. And it was interesting because it said William Cowper had great bouts of depression and mental illness. I read it. He said he got to a point in his life that he tried to end his life. And he tried, one day he got so tired of life and tired of what the situation was that he drank poison, but he survived the poisoning of himself. But he was so bent on killing himself that and to commit suicide that he went to a bridge and he was going to jump off the bridge, but the fog rolled in so heavy that he could not find the bridge. And when he found himself, he was back at his front door. But he didn't want to live. He didn't want to face another day of it. And so William Cowper, what he did was he went and got a rope and put it in his house, and he tried to hang himself. But he woke up the next morning with the rope still around his neck on the ground. Said, no, I'm not going to live. I can't take it anymore. And so the next morning, he got a long knife, and then he made up in his mind he was going to fall on the knife. And when he fell on the knife, the story says that the blade of the knife broke. So he went to bed that night disgusted. He done made all those attempts and did all those things, and he was such a failure in life he could not even commit suicide successfully. Said, but he woke up the next morning and he felt different. The depression was gone, and he had a great boldness of life that he felt that there was such a wholeness about it was. And so what he did, he sat down and he wrote another hymn. And the hymn that he wrote this time, that God moves in mysterious ways, his wonders to perform. He plants his footsteps on the sea and he rides upon the storm. Ye faithful, fearful states, fresh courage take. The clouds you so much dread are big with mercy and shall break. Don't judge today by the troubles of now, because the God we serve is still in control. I just stopped by to tell you today, don't get upset by what's going now. Don't get discouraged, because God is still in control. God knows about your circumstance. He knows about your problems. And the very thing you dread, God already has mercy, 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 and grace to lift you from where you fall. Even in your trouble and even in your trial, God moves in mysterious ways. Welcome, everyone, to Kingdom Conversations. We're really grateful another night to have you come and share with us. We're really thankful for those who are our regular listeners, and I'm really, really excited today, not only for the privilege of being on WEHA as well as also our other avenues. We are thankful to the Hawks family for making this possible to us as well. Thank you, Brother Hawks, and all of our listeners and all of our followers. But I'm especially grateful today. We have a really good program for you, and we're excited to have as our guest today the mayor of the great city of Atlantic City, Mayor Marty Smalls, and he's going to be with us today. But before we bring him on, we just want to, again, thank you so much for your support for our sunset service at Gardeners Basin. A really great day, a really great turnout. We thank all the pastors who participated. Reverend Batu Mukinai of Christ Worship Center Worldwide, Reverend Elias Thomas Community Baptist Church, Reverend John Peeler of Heaven's Way, and our speaker today, Reverend Buell Curry of Union Baptist Church, as well as we thank Reverend McClaren of Mount Zion Baptist Church. What a great fellowship. Thank God for your friendship, brethren, and the great way that you live for the Lord. Thank you all. Also want to give a shout out to Showboat for allowing us to use Garden Pier. And we thank you so much for a wonderful venue, and all of those that brought the lawn chairs and came out, did the outreach, the prayer tent. It was just a wonderful, wonderful day, and we're looking forward to doing that again. Also, we also want to wish everybody who has a birthday the month of June, happy birthday. May God bless you really, really good. Amen. Again, I want to welcome today someone I've supported, oh my goodness, for a long time, for over, I don't know how many years this man has been in politics and how many elections he's won, and I've always been an ardent supporter of him because he's done such great work for Atlantic City, and I'm humbled and privileged today to have him with us today. Welcome, Mayor Marty Small.
Yes. Thank you, Reverend Days, for having me. Thank you to your viewing and listening audience. And it's a great day here in the city of Atlantic City. Can we say great day?
Great day.
Yes.
Good. Marty, you know, I've known you, as I said earlier, such a long time, and always been your supporter. You were a much younger guy, very aggressive today, then as well, and had political aspirations. And I failed to say something important. You were a member of Second Baptist and been a member for a long time, you and your wife and your family. And our families and my grandson and your grandson are great friends. Tell us about your start in politics and how we met.
Yes. I ran for the Atlantic City Board of Education back in 2003. As a matter of fact, this past April 16th, 2003, I've been elected for 23 straight years, uninterrupted by the residents of Atlantic City, be it school board, city council, and now mayor. I've always admired you. I've known you as a community person, you know, as well as Pastor Days, but I wasn't a quote member of Second Baptist at the time. You supported many of my initiatives. You had people that you mentored that played in my men's midnight basketball.
And I would go sometime late at night and watch y'all play too.
Late at night. You know, and you know, we've always appreciated that you've always been of the community. And I can remember when I had a conversation. I remember coming to church. I ran for mayor the first time in 2009. I came to church Easter Sunday, and I said, well, I'm not really that type of person. I said, I do want to join this church, because at the time my wife and I were visiting various churches. I said, Reverend Days, I want to join this church, but I want to join after the election. I don't want people looking at me like I'm coming to church, you know, for an election. You know, I joined the church. We took the new membership classes. You baptized me, and you know, we've been a member ever since. You've been a supporter through the trials and tribulations, the ups and downs. Very encouraging, which is, you know, what you need. Been a spiritual advisor. I can talk to you about things I can't talk to nobody else about, and you know, it's just been a pleasure. Haven't been to church as much lately as, you know, we would like to, but that doesn't shake our faith, and we appreciate your support and spiritual guidance throughout the time.
You know, and I voted for you every time you've been in the election, every time, and not only voted privately in the vote in the voting booth, but always supported you publicly, and I don't care whether I'm down beach. I tell everybody I'm 100% Marty Small supporter. And you keep doing what you're doing in the way that you're doing and representing the city the way you're doing. You're one of the most articulate people I know and committed, and you will always have my support. Thank you for being a part of Atlantic City and having Atlantic City at your heart and community at heart. Thank you for participating on the show. Thank you, everybody, for being a part of this. Excellent. Good job. I tell you, you're the best person for this, man. Well, we thank you so much for coming and being part. We know that some great things are going on. We know an election is happening as well. But before we get to the election and the importance of the election, let's talk about all the wonderful things that's been happening in Atlantic City. And I've had the privilege of following around and hearing many of the things that you're doing in the city. I've been a part of Atlantic City for the last 30 years, and we've had some great mayors, but I think there's not one that has been as busy as you are, has been as focused as you have been, and accomplished so much in such a short period of time. Tell us some of the things, some highlights of things that has been really important to you, that you've made some campaign promises that you've actually, we hear promises all the time, but you've kept your promises, and talk about some of those things for us.
Yes, and we like to say that the small administration says what it means what it says. Again, thank you for the opportunity. I became mayor of the great city of Atlantic City October 3rd, 2019. I believe I made American political history, having to win 7 elections in 2 years just to serve a 4-year term. 4 years ago, I came to the voters and asked for their support. And everything that I said that I was going to do, everything I said I was going to focus on, we definitely have done that. I'm starting out with the taxpayers, who I said are my #1 priority, because that really needed attention. 6 straight years, we have a property tax decrease. Our finances are heralded by Wall Street. Both Moody's and Standard & Poor's have given the city a positive outlook each and every year that I've been in office, and they credited the improved management operation of the city as a big reason. When you talk about Atlantic City getting a bond rate upgraded every year since I've been in office, that's a big thing too, because we're now one step away from investment grade. Not that we need to go to the market, but we rather have options and not need them, and need options and not have them. So the finances are in place. I said right after the taxpayers that our youth and seniors are our 2 most precious resources. We've delivered in that space in a big way. One former mayor thought that he could balance a budget that couldn't be balanced by firing 52 recreation workers. We brought the recreation program back. We have partnerships with all the major sports leagues, the NFL, the WNBA, the NBA, and Major League Soccer. We also focus on children who doesn't necessarily participate in sports with our with our youth services program. They do unique programs, which I'm sure you're a fan of, like equestrian. They're big in the STEAM space. We do cultural field trips and more. They do a really good job. We sent kids to Africa for 3 weeks for free of charge. And also, when you look at what we're doing with youth services, one big thing that we've done was address the educational disparities in our community by the 3-year, $3 million commitment of the Mayor Marty Small Sr Scholarship, with Atlantic City being a growing city and growing multicultural community. We have a full service multicultural office as well as service in the LGBTQ plus community. Atlantic City is clean and safe. Like I said, we have given the public works departments the necessary tools to succeed, be it men and women power, be it equipment and more. They do a great job. We have a street sweeper dedicated to every ward. We have ward cleanup days and more. Kudos to public works. Also, police. Crime is down 11% in the great city of Atlantic City. And when you look at all of the things we give in our police department, the technology to succeed as well, with the license plate readers at every entry exit point throughout the city, as well as our citywide surveillance system, which is still underway, where we have the whole city under surveillance with AI capabilities. But more importantly, if this was this time last year, we'll be talking about 6 murders in Atlantic City. There are no murders here in the great city of Atlantic City, and we're extremely happy with that. We've addressed the homeless population. No other mayor has addressed that population. We have $3.4 million in services combined from CDBG funds and state of New Jersey funds. The state has given us a homeless czar. We have 10 individuals now. By the summertime, we're going to have 16 full-time individuals. You see them each and every day with the red. The men and women are out there working with the homeless population and more. Infrastructure, we promised to tear down and rebuild both of the Venice Park bridges. We've done that. We paved streets more than any other administration in all 6 wards, Main and Jackson, and every neighborhood in between. And we're looking forward to finally paving the second half of Atlantic Avenue. That, with the responsible development of Beta Field, the Kushner family is going to develop right across from Beta Field, 180 units, as well as K. Hovnanian, another national reputable developer, developing close to 300 units here in the great city of Atlantic City. There's so much more that is going on, including city development. The city's in the development business. We have completed the $6 million infrastructure on the boardwalk near Boardwalk Hall. This fall, we will have $20 million, which was the largest award in the state, tied with Asbury Park, of the $100 million boardwalk fund. Kudos to Governor Murphy. The great city of Atlantic City got 20, and we will start from New Jersey Avenue all the way down to Tennessee and further if the bids come in lower. So that's a big infrastructure project. We completed the aquarium. It looks beautiful. We reopened Pop Lloyd Stadium, and this Thursday, 12 noon, we are unveiling the grand opening of the Lieutenant Governor Sheila Oliver Plaza here in the great city of Atlantic City. That and so much more. I'll be quiet and answer questions.
Yeah, please, because you've got you can rattle off those things so well, and you've dealt with so much. Let's get into the weeds about a few things before we open it to other things, about some of the things you said, and all of those things are absolutely exciting for the citizens of Atlantic City. I just want to go back to the youth in particular. Some of I'm really excited about your commitment to youth. I love the idea of what you did last year with sending some of the kids to South Africa. I just had one problem. You didn't send them with me. You know, I go every year. They couldn't have had a better experience with anybody else other than me. But I talked to some kids this week, last week actually, about their experience. They had a wonderful time, and it was just great that I was able to identify with the places they went and some of the things they did. So I'm really grateful. But you've also done some things. You've made some tremendous commitments when it comes to jobs, when it really comes to recreation, support you've given to football teams with, the AAU guys playing, which are doing, representing Atlantic City well across the country. With sports, with Pop Lloyd. So talk about a little bit, because Pop Lloyd was just amazing. I went to my first baseball game in probably 40 years, enjoyed it, and then I was so excited to go to the next one. The high school teams were playing, and that was great. The softball girls, I got a chance to see those games as well. and then they put. I was hoping to sit on my porch,
Yeah.
and look at the game from my porch, and then one day, behold, they put tarp across where I was playing, and I called up Jared immediately. Why have you? We had a beautiful, beautiful complex. I mean, and different colors than any other I'd seen a sports field, blue and red, and I found out why it was blue and red. And I can't see it because the Lord blessed us in a big wind and caused it all to flop up so I can still see it. I talk about some of the particulars about Pop Lloyd and also the Sheila Oliver Memorial Garden that you're doing. It should be being unveiled pretty soon.
Yes, with Pop Lloyd Stadium, as I stated, I became mayor October 3rd, 2019. And the state of New Jersey came to visit me for a tour on November 8th, 2019. And I actually pulled up right across the street from your house. We got out the car and I said to them, I want to redo this stadium, but I want to make it a multi-sports field because John Henry Pop Lloyd was a Negro League baseball player from the great city of Atlantic City. And we wanted to carry on that honor and any and everything that we did. We would always maintain the integrity of the baseball diamond, but with all the fields being multi-purpose, with it being turf, we wanted to take advantage so that way that can be like a youth sports hub here in this great city of Atlantic City. Nothing to do with football. We already have Dolphins Field. I haven't announced that yet, but I'll break the news here. We got $1.4 million to redo Dolphins Field as well. It's in need of great repair, and we look forward to announcing that. But with Pop Lloyd Stadium, you have the main baseball field for baseball and softball. And then in the outfield area, you have three mini fields by a full soccer field. So it gives us a lot of options to play different sports. I was an athlete. Sports was my safe haven. And I wanted to make sure that the kids here in the great city of Atlantic City get all the necessary tools to succeed, be it facilities or more. And we're doing that in a big way. You're talking about the late, great Lieutenant Governor Sheila Oliver, who was very instrumental in the infancy stages of the small administration and all my time as mayor to her untimely death. She let us rebuild the mayor's office staffing-wise the way we needed to once we explained the plan and all the things we wanted to do. So, and she has always been the champion of Atlantic City. She said she wanted to retire in Atlantic City, was looking for places to live. And we just look forward to Thursday when we pay honor to her when we name the Lieutenant Governor Sheila Oliver Plaza at City Hall Courtyard. For those who don't know, that is the area in between the county building and City Hall.
Miss Sheila was a wonderful, wonderful person. Loved and supported a lot of what we did in Atlantic City. And I know it was a great friend to you, but also to the city of Atlantic City. You talk about housing, and you know, we do have a tremendous need for housing in Atlantic City. We know what's going on with this closing of a part of Stanley Homes. I'm really concerned about that. You know, that's my neighborhood, and it's always great to hear about more housing. But there's also a concern in the city about gentrification in our neighborhoods. We look at our schools. You know, I love my grandkids go to Richmond Avenue, probably one of the most diverse schools in the city. And I love that because they get a chance to meet and intermingle, friends, learn from the various cultures. And Atlantic City is extremely, extremely diverse. But there are concerns about, you know, some of our long-term neighbors, especially some of our elders, about being priced out. What are your thoughts and plans as it relates to gentrification, making sure that our long-time residents, and I believe that Atlantic City is still that secret place that people have not found. It's a wonderful place to stay. There's tremendous culture here. The housing market is still pretty low compared to other parts of the state, and to be a beach town as well. And that secret is getting out. But what about making sure that some of our young people who want to be homeowners in Atlantic City can have that wish come true?
Well, gentrification will not happen under my watch. I can remember when we first announced Novi coming and people were looking at the prices. And like I said to the people of Atlantic City then, I said, why not raise your expectation level or put yourself in position to obtain an apartment like that? while people from here were complaining, you had people that live in DC and New York and like, what? Like, I can pay $1,600 at the time, and I live a block away from the beach. I live in New York City, and I'm paying almost double for a box, meaning that they're living quarters. But it is important that we work with all developers, which we do. I have a saying that relationships matter. Life is the relationship, and we will make sure that there will be no gentrification going on. The Stanley Homes situation is a situation that has been deliberated over time to tear it down or whether or not to tear it down. It's going to be tore down. My hope is that it can be rebuilt like, my neighborhood, VAC, where it was a part of the Hope 6 project, and now people are staying in beautiful homes like the Meadows. Everybody should be able to obtain their American dream, whatever that is, as far as living. And as I stated many, many, many times, that if I'm going to go out and recruit a developer to ask them to invest in Atlantic City, me as the mayor, I have to give opportunities as well. When you talk about young homeowners and people that want to own a home, I came up with a unique program called the Housing Lottery, and we pre-qualify people to make sure that they qualify for a mortgage. They have the income and the credit to get a quality lending institution to lend them money for the mortgage. New Jersey Community Capital held those homes in the Venice Park area. They were on the market for $400,000. They put in a $100,000 subsidy. I went and found $1 million so that way we can make 10 homeowners, and we put up $100,000 as well. So now their home is $200,000. But when you talk about the partners that we have with the great city of Atlantic City, our CDBG program, and our partners at Atlantic County Government, the Atlantic County Improvement Authority, CDBG, homeowner can qualify, eligible homeowner can qualify for up to $175,000, and I believe the Atlantic County Improvement Authority can do a little more. So homes are at least as low as $175. If you catch a break, you can get it lower than that from the Atlantic County Improvement Authority. So now that $400,000 home is now $175 or less. So we made people's American dream. We did the first 4. We look forward to breaking ground later in the year on the Virginia Gilliam Mosaic block. The city owns half of that block. That's the Maryland Avenue in between Arctic and Baltic. And we look to create 6 more homeowners, and I will finish my $1 million commitment to get new homeowners. But they had to have skin in the game, living that property for 15 years. So we're excited about that.
How does someone get into that program?
We'll start advertising soon. People have to sign up, and there's pre-qualifying information, and it's simple. We just take the names that qualify, put everybody in a gold, spinning device, and we had the cameras from NBC there zooming in because the first thing people thought was this is another ploy for Mayor Small's family and/or friends to do it. This is a transparent process. We encourage everybody to apply. It's exciting.
Excellent. That's wonderful. Now you talk about homelessness, and that's very dear to my heart. And I know we got you talk about a homeless czar. Now in terms of homelessness is an issue in any major city, especially a city that's 24/7. And I call it the invisible community. We do a tremendous outreach through the church and have been for years to the homeless and those who are drug addicted. And you have taken a robust effort in terms of dealing with the homeless situation in Atlantic City. Can you tell us a little about it?
Yes, we take pride in that. It was always a conversation piece. What are we going to do? But it was no action. That was it. When you look at what's going on in the great city of Atlantic City, we call it Greyhound Therapy, but municipalities near and far send their less fortunate here to the great city of Atlantic City to figure it out. We have the glitz and glamour. We have the rescue mission. We have social services and more. And I've personally seen other municipalities, policemen drop people off at the bus station on South Carolina Avenue, drop people off at the rescue mission, drop them off, all over town. And who can forget during COVID when we put an executive order that homeless people were banned from the hotels because of the restriction and everything. And they went and migrated on the Pike, and other towns did executive orders to, quote, ban Atlantic City homeless. These are not Atlantic City homeless. These are unfortunate people that, are down on their luck. It's not a crime to be homeless, but, we want other people to take, put skin in the game with this homeless situation as well. So what I did is we created 10 positions, community service aides. They wear red. They all over town, doing great work for us. We're going to get 6 more hired via the state of New Jersey for 16 full-time people that's on the street all day and all night trying to mitigate the homeless situation in Atlantic City by offering people services. But people need to understand if they say no, there's nothing that we can do. As far as the city, through CDBG, we are investing $1.8 million to house 43 individuals for a 2-year period and surround them with the necessary wraparound service. When it comes to the state, we know that they said that they have a homeless czar, and I told the state you can have a czar, a car, or a candy bar. We need financial resources as well, and they're putting $1.6 million in investment in that as well. So we're taking a step, and just be patient because it didn't get this way overnight, and it's not going to change overnight. But we have to focus, and we're ready to mitigate this homeless situation.
You're talking about a lot of great things that's happening with development in Atlantic City. What about, when we talk about homeless, we're talking about development, Renaissance Plaza has been a plague for many administrations. What's the plan for Renaissance Plaza?
All right, well, we, through our friends at CRDA, invested $3 million for the Boardwalk, Atlantic and Pacific Avenue areas like Renaissance Plaza, where we have extra patrols that takes away from, that doesn't cost the taxpayers any money. It's a $3 million grant from CRDA to make improvements in those areas, and we are, unfortunately, when you move people from one area, they start migrating to another. So it's a constant chase with our police department. But as far as Renaissance Plaza, hopefully this fall, not to get in front of CRDA's announcement, but hopefully this fall, CRDA can acquire Renaissance Plaza, and the plan is hopefully to get rid of the liquor store and utilize the space from the liquor store and now shut it Family Dollar for a lease of 40,000 square foot supermarket.
Oh, fantastic. I've been following you around, and I'm telling you, I have not been able to keep up with you. I've never seen anyone who has so much energy and so much commitment to the community. But one of the things I really have been impressed with is the diversity of your outreach in the community. As I said before, that Atlantic City in particular has such a diversity in population that's reflected in the schools as well, in our business community, and you have such a connection with that. How did that come about, and why is that important?
Listen, it's a lot of dedication and hard work. People have to believe in you. People don't want to follow someone that can't get anything done. And as I often say, that the small administration says what it means what it says. If I tell people something, it happens, and people can appreciate that. And that's rare in, quote, politicians, elected officials, community service, or whatever, because a lot of times people tell people what they want to hear. I just let them know what it is, and, from relationships, of course, in the African-American community, relationships all over town. We have a big, diverse group of influential people that follow us, that support us, and it took a lot of time and hard work to the Southeast Asian community, to Bangladesh, to Pakistan. When you talk about the Vietnamese community, the Chinese, we're strong in all of those spaces here in the great city of Atlantic City, and we want to keep that coalition going because we've been, doing a lot of great things. We've been doing a lot of great things for those communities and through the city overall. Like I said, I'm not a mayor from wards 1 through 4. I'm a mayor from wards 1 through 6, Maine to Jackson, and every neighborhood in between.
Now, you're running. New elections coming up, coming up June. Let's talk about that a little bit in terms of, what are your biggest challenges for the next 4 years? And we are really excited about what you're doing and the team that you put together. Let's talk about the team. Who's on your team? And, why is it important to get out and vote in this off-year election?
Yes, the city council has 9 members on city council. You have 6 ward council people and 3 at large. At large runs with the mayor, and then 2 years later, all 6 wards are up. For council at large, I have incumbent Patricia Bailey on my ticket, incumbent Councilwoman Stephanie Marshall, and a gentleman, M. Sewell Ahmed, is looking to be elected. Big supporter and big guy in the Bangladesh community. He's on our ticket as well with the team small ticket. When we talk about the county, of course, we're supporting my past Reverend College days, yourself, here. And for the state level, for assembly, we are supporting Lisa Bonanno and Bruce Weeks, and ultimately, for Governor Steve Fuller, I'm running a continuation platform of all of the aforementioned programs and activities that we discussed earlier in this interview. We're going to do that and more over the next 4 years. And I would just say this, I'm the most qualified, I'm the most educated, and I'm the most accomplished candidate in the race for mayor. You don't have to ask who Marty Small is. And one thing that residents can appreciate is, how does your leader act during time of crisis? I'm going through a personal crisis right now. We have overwhelming support in the community. My wife and I, as well as Mandy, we have overwhelming support in the community for the thing that we're going through. And each and every day, we just continue to show up for our community. And, the support has been great. But who can forget COVID? Something that you couldn't see, touch, or smell. And no one knew what to do. And as I stated at the beginning of this interview, relationships matter. A 45-minute phone call to Senator Cory Booker, letting him know how important it was that Atlantic City had all the resources to succeed. We were the first municipality in the state of New Jersey, with 2 testing sites, the drive-through site at Beta Field and the walk-up site at Showboat Parking Lot. In addition to that, because all of the facts and data, I always say that we wouldn't govern on feelings and emotion, all of the facts and data said that the senior citizen population was the most susceptible to the virus. So we fed 3,780 senior citizens in the great city of Atlantic City 3 hot meals a week for 5 months. So we showed up. While other towns, municipalities said that their beach and boardwalk would be closed, I kept our beach and boardwalk open, giving our residents the space to have mental exercise, physical exercise, and more. So again, the small administration is what all your hopes and dreams are made of. So ladies and gentlemen, in this election cycle starting Tuesday, June 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, and ultimately on election day, Tuesday, June 10th, we want you to dream big, vote small, and support the entire Team Small ticket.
Oh, fantastic. Now, I want to talk about what do you think the biggest challenges for Atlantic City is today, and what you'll be facing in the next 4 years?
Well, it's to protect Atlantic City and to get Atlantic City all of the necessary funding that it needs. We have a great budget. If you think our budget is great, can you imagine if we were to implement luxury tax, parking tax, and sports gaming revenue? We have a multi-billion-dollar industry, and we have 9 casinos that have sports books, but the residents of Atlantic City don't get a penny. So we need to protect Atlantic City with the state takeover legislation as well as the pilot legislation. I will be at the forefront of those discussions to make sure that the great city of Atlantic City is protected and we get all that we can.
Also, when we look at, Atlantic City, I love the city. My wife was asking the other day about, okay, when you retire, we're going back south. I said, nope, I'm going to make my last days right here in Atlantic City because I love it so much. And my kids have done well here. For others, it might be, especially when it comes to young people, graduating from high school. What are the opportunities you see for them in the next, 4 years, as well as those that may be outside of the city that may be looking at relocating?
We're going to continue what we've done. And thank you for your commitment to Atlantic City. And I like to say that I'm Atlantic City born, I'm Atlantic City bred, and when I die, I'm going to be Atlantic City dead. I just love this city, and we have to promote opportunities. There's no need to tell a young person to come home and come back to the community. There's nothing for them to do. And we've demonstrated that in a big way. Just look at City Hall now. Look at the opportunities that all the younger people are getting. Look at the opportunities and positions that people are getting as just graduating college, to have them make this their home, them to raise their family as well. And those are the things that we're going to promote over the next 4 years continuously.
I think it was Wednesday, I saw a young lady. She had a certificate in her hand, and she had just completed the entrepreneur class. She was so excited, and she already started pitching to me, what her business idea was. And so tell us a little about that and how else can we get involved.
Yes, this idea was birthed 8 years ago when I ran for mayor. That I said that if I ever became mayor, that I would hold the Mayor's Office Small Business Academy, which is a free 8-week program curriculum that was initially started by LAEDA and Stockton University. The last few years, we partnered with the African American Chamber of Commerce. Kudos to John Harmon and the great work that he does throughout the state. And it gives residents an opportunity to go through an 8-week class for free. And at the end, we try to pair them with resources with the different community development corporations here in Atlantic City. And ultimately, the goal is to have people open businesses here in the great city of Atlantic City, and hopefully brick and mortar. We know that the small business community was the hub of Atlantic City prior to the casinos. We know that African American businesses has been a dying breed, and it's up to us to give them the necessary resources to succeed.
Also, you are a graduate of Stockton University, and you actually you met your wife at Stockton, right?
Oh, my wife met me.
Oh, I'm sorry, your wife met you at Stockton,
And Reverend Days, I would tell this story. Your producer is a witness. Kudos to Lapel Chapman. He is a witness to the story. When we get off camera, we can tell that story.
Okay,
because I definitely know that you would take my side.
Well, I got to hear the other side first. But I'm on the board of Stockton Trustees, and Stockton has made a big investment into Atlantic City, did you see a deeper relationship with Stockton, especially when it comes to the education system as well? Because I think we really need to leverage every aspect of, especially Stockton. It really has a big footprint, and bigger footprint. And since you got an advocate on board, what do you like to see done as relates to?
Well, we want continued investment here in the great city of Atlantic City, as well as some hopeful anchor institutions. I know that there are some discussions that we're not going to have on camera, but we want them to develop what we would call phase 3 in the great city of Atlantic City, to bring more people here, to hopefully add some retail and other partnerships as well. So we will be very excited about my alma mater to continue to expand here in the great city of Atlantic City.
Mayor, I really appreciate you coming on and being a part of our program today, Kingdom Conversations, and we're grateful for our listeners as well. Is there any final words you'd like to give to our listening audience, whether it's about the election or whether Atlantic City, or just words of encouragement in general?
Well, as I stated with the election, support the team, small ticket, local, county, and state, for a better Atlantic City. Relationships matter, and it's important that we have great relationships in all parts of the state, in all forms of government, as we do. This administration has got more state and federal funds than any other administration. We're going to continue to do that to offset the expense of the taxpayers. And those of you, please, I'm telling you now, get in Atlantic City while you can, and understand that this administration is working extremely hard to continue to make it a great day here in the city of Atlantic City. Atlantic City is always counted out. We always right ourselves. We're resilient. And I keep telling everyone, please be patient with this great city of Atlantic City. God is not through with us yet.
Amen. We thank you so much for coming on to be a part of Kingdom Conversations, and we look forward to supporting you, looking forward to the great work that you and your wife are doing in Atlantic City. And maybe hopefully we'll have Dr. Quetta Small come on and talk about wonderful things that's happening in the school district of Atlantic City that makes this place a wonderful place to live. It's dear to my heart, and for those who are citizens of Atlantic City, and all of those who benefit from what Atlantic City is doing in the entire county and South Jersey region. Thank you so much for sharing with us. Thank you all for being a part of this, and we'll see you next Monday on Kingdom Conversations.